Hi folks, I hope that you guys are doing pretty well. So today is Monday, the 31st of March 2025, and in today's video I'm going to decipher for you in the book of James, okay, chapter 5, verses 1 to 8, okay. In this book, in James chapter 5, we have a bunch of tribulation period as well as Millennium Kingdom prophecies, okay. And as always, I do have a program here, okay. So it's actually 3 pages long. So we're gonna be going through these 8 verses, if you like, and link them to other prophecies in the Bible, okay. So this is quite an interesting chapter, and there are some fascinating things here as well in this chapter here as well, okay. So let's get into it, okay. Now, the first prophecy here in chapter 5 in the book of James, it reads, "Go to now, you rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you." Okay, so it says here, "Go to now, you rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you." So this is actually a tribulation period prophecy. Okay, it can actually be linked to the book of Revelation, chapter 6, verses 15 and 17. Okay, so this first verse, this prophecy can be linked to the tribulation period, especially under Revelation 6, verses 15 and 17. So let's quickly go there to the book of Revelation, okay? Um, we are just here, folks, in book of Revelation. Um, so if you head over to the book of Revelation, chapter 6, okay, and you read verses 15 to 17, "And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men," okay, "and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and the rocks, Fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb, for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand?" Okay, so just remember, the kings of the earth, the great men and the rich men. And if you go back to verse 1, "Go to now, you rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you." So do you see how it's a tribulation period prophecy? And it's linked to Revelation 6, okay? Verses 15 to 17, they're going to be hiding in mountains, all these rich men, okay? And they are going to weep and howl for their miseries, okay? Now, on verse 2 then, let's quickly go back to here, to the book of James, okay? So, on chapter 5, on verse 2, it reads, "Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten." Okay, so your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Now, this prophecy here can be linked to Jeremiah chapter 10, verses 8 and 9. Okay, let me quickly take you there, and we read them. Okay, so Jeremiah, one sec, folks. Jeremiah chapter 10. Okay, so if you head over to the book of Jeremiah, okay, and go to chapter 10, and if you read verses 8 and 9, "But they are altogether brutish and foolish. The stock is a doctrine of vanities." Okay, "Silver spread into plates is brought from Tarshish, and gold from Upas, the work of the workmen, and of the hands of the founder. Blue and purple is their clothing. They are all the work of cunning men." Okay, and then on verse 10 here, "But the Lord is a true God, He is a living God, and an everlasting King, and he At his wrath the earth shall tremble. Okay, so this is going to happen during the Millennium Kingdom as a result of all these vanities from men. Okay, so yeah, like I said, verse 2 here can be linked to Jeremiah chapter 10 verses 8 and 9. Okay, and this is actually a tribulation period prophecy. Okay, how men are corrupted, the riches are corrupted. Okay, because they're going after gold and silver. Okay, now let's go back then to verse 3 here in the book of James. um, so verse 3 says here, your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you. Okay, so it follows on from verse 2. Okay, people going for gold and silver. Okay, so yeah, the gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. You have heaped treasure together for the last day. So this is actually Millennium Kingdom prophecy, and it's actually linked to Zachariah 14:12. Okay, so this verse 3 here is linked to Zachariah 14:12. Okay, where it reads, and this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem, their flesh. Okay, so notice how it says here, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Okay, so it says here in Zechariah 14:12. Okay, and this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. Okay, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Okay, so this is a Millennium Kingdom prophecy. Okay, because these people in the tribulation period, the evil ones are lusting over gold and silver. Okay, and when Jesus comes back for the Millennial Kingdom, he's going to judge them. Their flesh is going to consume them. As it says here also, and shall eat your flesh as if were fire. So God is going to punish them as a result of what they're doing. Okay, so let me turn over the page here on my program, and then we look at verse 4. Okay, so in verse 4 reads, behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you, get back by fraud. Okay, so basically those leaders, during the tribulation period, the rich men, the kings, and so on, are ripping people off. Poor people are working in their fields, and they are committing fraud against them. Okay, and the crest of them which have reaped enter into the ears of the Lord or Sabaoth. Okay, so basically what he's saying here is that poor workers have been exploited by the rich people. Okay, that are working in the fields. Okay, and so for verse 4 then, I have this linked to Psalm 12:5. Okay, so this prophecy can be linked to Psalm 12:5, where we read, for the oppression of the poor, for the sighing of the needy. Now I will arise, said the Lord. I will set him in safety from him that passeth at him. Okay, so this is actually a Millennial Kingdom prophecy. This one here in Psalm 12:5, and you can link it with this prophecy here in James chapter 5, verse 4. Okay, now verse 5, you have lived in pleasure on the earth, and being wanton, you have nourished your hearts as in a day of slaughter. Okay, so basically, for verse 5, then I have this prophecy linked, if you like, to Psalm 10, verse 3, and it reads, for the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire. Okay, and blessed the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. So this is actually a tribulation period prophecy. Okay, so the kings of the earth, the rulers, the rich men, and so on, they are well nourishing the lust of the flesh, and they are being wanted, wanton, if you like. Okay. And so, yeah, the wicked are boasting in their heart, about their desires, about their pleasure. Okay. And they are blessing one another, because they are covetous, and the Lord hides that. Okay. So I got a link to Psalm 10 verse 3. Okay. Verse 6, you have condemned and killed the just, and he does not resist you. Okay, so this prophecy here, I have it actually linked to Psalm 10 verse 8. He's seated in the lurking places of the villages, in the secret places does he murder, okay, the innocent. See how it reads here. You have condemned and killed the just, okay. And in Psalm 10:08 it says here, in the secret places does he murder the innocent, okay? His eyes are proudly set against the poor, okay? So this is actually a tribulation period prophecy, and I have linked this verse 6 to Psalm 10 verse 8, okay? Now we're going to be going to verse 7 in here. Be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Lord. Behold, the husbandman waiteth for the precious fruit of the earth, and hath long patience for it, until he receive the early and later rain. Okay, now this is actually a very interesting prophecy, and I actually got a link to some prophecies here. Okay, so yeah, just to recap, verse 7, be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Lord. Okay, so this prophecy can be linked to Hosea chapter 6 verse 3. Here is then shall we know if we follow on to know the Lord. His going forth is prepared as the morning, and he shall come unto us as the rain, as the later and former rain unto the earth. Okay? So notice how it says here, until he receive the early and later rain. So verse 7, I've got a link to Hosea 6:3. Okay? And also this prophecy can be linked to Joel chapter 2, verse 23, and it reads, be glad then, you children of Zion, and rejoice in the Lord your God, for he hath given you the former rain moderately, and he will cause to come down for you the rain, the former rain, and the later rain in the first month. Now, this is actually very interesting, because this later rain is going to be, Jesus' second coming for the Millennium Kingdom, and it says here, in the later rain in the first month. So this is a bit of a clue here. Now, could it mean that Jesus' second coming is going to happen in the month of Nisan? And also, according to Ezekiel 46:1, the new moon. Let me show you Ezekiel 46:1, okay? Because this is actually quite interesting. It's a big clue there, from Joel. So if you go to Ezekiel 46, okay, verse 1, thus saith the Lord God, the God of the inner court that looketh towards the east shall be shut. The 6 working days, but on the Sabbath it shall be open, and in the day of the new moon it shall be open. So this is pretty much saying that Jesus is gonna coming back for the Millennium Kingdom under the new moon, okay? And if you read Joel 2:23, okay, the later rain in the first month, could it be that Jesus is coming under Ezekiel 46:1, the new moon, but also in the first month of Nisan, for his Millennium Kingdom? I would say it's highly probable. So yeah, just read Joel 2:23. It's actually a very interesting prophecy, how it says, and in the later rain, and in the first month. So, and then you could link these two together, Ezekiel 46:1 and Joel 2:23, the coming of Jesus for the Millennial Kingdom. So, yeah, I think this is actually quite interesting. And then verse 8 to finish up. Be you also patient, establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord draweth nigh. Okay, so this is actually linked to the prophecy in Joel chapter 2 verse 1, okay? Blow you the trumpet in Zion and sound the alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh, nigh at hand, okay, like it says here. For the coming of the Lord draweth nigh, okay? Here the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand, okay? So I linked it to Joel chapter 2 verse 1, so it's actually a Millennium Kingdom prophecy, okay? Yeah, so this is actually quite interesting, Joel chapter 5, we have a few, tribulation period and Millennium Kingdom prophecies as well. So yeah, I highly encourage you to study the book of James, chapter 5. Now I'm just going to give you a quick scan of the program here in case you want to go back and, study it for yourselves, okay? So this is page 1. Last page, Neil. Alright folks, thanks for watching and I'll talk to you all later.